Do you have any idea how hard Gregor Townsend had to work to find 3 more uncapped players in Scotland?
I mean, in Scotland is kind of the key word, because I'd imagine he was searching worldwide for people with Scottish grounds.
He has called one up from the Pro Data.
Yes,
but he has called that guy up before.
Yes.
So, Scotland named a squad for the Autumn Internationals.
Indeed.
Right? The Autumn Nation Series has taken place. It is a slightly odd squad.
Yeah,
I think.
You can say that again.
But then it's also a Gregor Townsend squad, right? Like the Toonie Tombola is back in full effect.
It's what you'd expect, isn't it?
Yeah.
The interesting and eye-catching thing I want to talk about just straight from the off.
Yeah.
5 fly-halves.
5 fly-halves, Gregor. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has gone for Finn Russell, and also I will lead with that because Finn Russell is going to play every minute.
Yes, he plays every minute all the time.
Yeah.
How many times have we, this is something Gregor Townsend has done consistently throughout his career, right? Which is he calls in a new fly half who's eligible for someone else. The Jaco van der Vault began this all, and he shall outlive everyone. You know, we've seen, who else down the years? Ben Healy. Most recently, Tom Jordan.
Phil Burley.
Phil Burley.
Yeah.
Like, Tom Heathcote back in the day, obviously probably predates Gregor. But like,
same vibes.
Constantly, these players come in, right? He pulls out a fly-off from somewhere else who is eligible for Scotland. He looks at them, Fergus Burke now, goes, "You're pretty good, aren't you?" Puts them on the bench for like one campaign. And then, over the next few months, another one of these guys emerges.
Yep.
And he just goes to the next toy.
So Finn Russell, who, as I say, he is like Scotland's best player.
Yeah.
He is one of the best
like,
players in Europe.
He's Gregor Townsend himself as a player, reincarnated and better.
Yes. So why you need 4 more of them for training, I don't know. But, I mean, a part of this is, so Tom Jordan, another one of those, he plays every other position in the back line.
Really smartly has pivoted to being more of a utility back over the last couple of years.
And he's great. Like, when he plays at 12 or fullback or wherever, and he always plays well. He's really uber consistent.
Really good for Bristol so far this season. Picked him man of the match on debut and has been really good.
Has been playing fly half in the absence of Edgy McGinty, who has sadly got a long-term injury at the moment. Yeah. But you'd imagine in the Scotland fold, he will be used elsewhere in the back line.
Yes.
And it really works, having the dual playmakers. I really like that, especially when you've got Blair Kinghorn as well at the back. You know, there's a lot of balance that Tom Jordan can bring. The other thing about Tom Jordan is he thinks he's massive. So, like, if there's enough distributors in the back line, he will gladly like take on the role of like a crash ball centre. Yeah. And it's something that we always praised Owen Farrell for that at his best. That he was always willing to take up that job. And like Tom Jordan's really good at that. So he's a really, like, I joke, but he's a really mouldable and adaptable player. And he's clearly happy to play any role in the team.
I think it's an inspired and very Gregor Townsend thing to go, these are the 37 best players in Scotland, rather than here's a squad that is cohesive and makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like he's gone, well, hold on, if we're to pick our best players, that involves Adam Hastings, that involves Fergus Burke, that involves Ross Thompson.
Adam Hastings and Fergus Burke both playing really, really well.
Yeah, Ross Thompson's, solid start to the season.
I really like Ross Thompson, but I also don't get why they've necessarily gone for him. Well, I think he's an excellent player, but
every other coach in the world goes, okay, we will have 2 to 3 fly halves, and maybe there'll be one other player who can play there who's really in as a fullback or centre.
King Blairhorn, yes.
Yep, yes. Roy Hutchinson can play 10 as well. Yeah. He's also in that squad. We will have those guys in the squad, and then if anyone does not fall into those 2 or 3 positions we have available for that position, they will not be in the squad. Gregor has gone, no, I know better than this.
Fly halves are the best kind of rugby players, in my opinion.
I was a fly half myself.
Yes.
Therefore, I should call in infinite fly halves.
Yes.
I don't think it makes sense.
I don't know.
But also, no, I can see his logic. I don't know if it's logic that's ever going to win you anything. Because you want competition, you want people to be gutted, and you want people to be kind of fighting for that, if they don't make the squad.
Yeah.
And instead, he's just kind of put everyone in. And I don't think that's necessarily the worst thing. You want to be able to work people. He's constantly arranging these games against tier 2 teams that will allow him more chance to do that. Game coming up against Tonga and the USA, so there's 2 more chances to throw Ross Thompson in the deep end.
And with that in mind as well, so Hugh Jones is out injured in this campaign.
Yes.
So he's unfortunately not available, which presumably means that Tom Jordan will be starting at 12. And maybe they will slide out Sione Tuipulotu into the 13.
Is it finally Stafford McDowell time?
It could also be Stafford McDowell time. Again, they've got a few really good options in the centres there. Obviously, Sione Tuipulotu, the thing I'm delighted about is that he's kept the captaincy. Obviously, missed the Six Nations, but was previously the captain last autumn. And Gregor has famously like juggled his captains about and changed who it is like every campaign. But I think he's finally settled on Sione being that guy. And in the first few rounds of the URC, he's just been outstanding. And just looking at him, like on the back of the Lions tour, he clearly came back early and went, no, I want as many minutes because I missed so much of last season. Like, I just want to play rugby. And again, there is just this ruthless nature to every time I watch him play that no matter who he's playing against, he just doesn't let them play better than him. There's never a time where you see somebody young coming up and going like, he actually weirdly got the better of Sione today. Nuh-uh, doesn't happen.
The free scrum halves, I think, is an interesting one.
Yeah.
George Horn, Jamie Dobie, Ben White.
Yes.
So I don't think there's too much argument of those being the free scrum halves.
Yeah.
But such different players.
Yeah. Mate, Jamie Dobie's been on fire.
Jamie Dobie was phenomenal against the Ospreys.
Yeah.
Player of the match, was by a country mile the best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like there were plenty of good performances in that Glasgow team, but like he was on another level.
Opportunist try he took in that game
2
as well.
tries. Yeah.
And again, like, you look at his acceleration, I think is kind of the thing he's most known for. But when he got his chance against Samoa in the summer for Scotland, he just was balling, and he was like the best player on the pitch. And through that unbelievable pass to Aaron Reid.
I think this is probably his time.
Yeah, I think
he's obviously picked up plenty of caps, but I'm a bit like, I think this is his
He's just been gradually building momentum since like maybe a year or two before Glasgow won the URC. Yeah. And since then, he's just been progressing even further. I really like him.
I remember him being like the standout player for Scotland in the 20s when he first came in. He came in for Glasgow young and being like, oh, this kid's good, this kid's good. And then, he's built and built and built. And I feel like this is his time. I feel like this is the campaign where I'd like to see him get that starting shirt. And Ben White maybe being used as, you know, bench option. And starting against the USA is an interesting chance to do that. You can build some momentum, playing a smaller side at first, like a, you know, no disrespect for the USA, though. Huge kudos to the SRU and USA Rugby for making the decision to leave Rupert McLean at home for this game.
Yes.
Enormous credit, you know. Thanks for that. Like, sort of thing that will go unsaid.
Yes, it will. But he probably shouldn't be playing international rugby.
No.
In our opinion, at least.
Yes. And I think there's a chance then leading into New Zealand a week later to let Dobie build some experience and confidence going into that, and then potentially start him and try and do something different to try and overcome the All Blacks rather than the game plan they've been using for.
Dobie just feels like the sort of player at the moment who loves like one test higher than he's previously been. And he just loves the chance to express himself on ball. And again, like, think about how fast a Scotland backline you could build when everyone's fit. I know Hugh Jones is out, but when you've got Dobie in there, you've got Kinghorn in there who's quick. You've got Darcy Graham and Duan van der Merwe as wingers. Even like Kyle Rowe and Aaron Reid who could slot into
Blair
even on the
deceptively
bench.
Fast.
Exactly. Like, there's so many like really quick options. And again, like even in the pack, like a lot of those players, like, are no slouches.
Gregor Brown's turn of pace at the minute.
Yeah.
Gregor Brown's been playing really well.
He has.
Also picked up player of the match a couple of weeks ago against the Dragons.
Yeah.
And was just absolutely brilliant. And he's one of those players who got widely mocked when he got called up for a Lions tour. And now he's doing that thing that some Lions do, right? Where they come back off tour and they kick on a gear. And they're like, no, I'm a Lion now. Yeah. Right? And weirdly, Gregor Brown has been the one guy this season I've gone like, oh, he's doing that thing.
Yeah.
He's gone, I'm a Lion now, and is kicking up gears.
You know how much I love Gregor Brown, right? That he, again, Scott Cummings as well, has come back. Well, he went on the Lions tour, and again, he comes back into the Scotland fold like as a proper leader in this team, which I love. And I suppose the debate was a little bit around like who is ideally the starting partner alongside him. Is it a Gilchrist? Is it a Cammy Henderson? But I think Gregor Brown looks like that guy now because he's a dynamic carrier, but brilliant at set piece as well. I think he's got a little bit of everything to him.
Yeah. You think about Gatland a few years ago in the 2017 Lions, right? And Corey Hill obviously been widely mocked when he was called up.
Yeah.
Part of the Geography 6. And Gatland said to him, and Hill said this after, and obviously Corey Hill has become like a dirty name since, but like, said to him at the time, like, well, there's only one thing you can do, right? Which is you come back on this tour having earned your place in the initial squad in 4 years' time. Yeah. And he didn't do that, but like Hill was a critical part of Wales team that won the Six Nations, was like regularly starting, and improved immensely over those 4 years.
Yeah.
And Gregor Brown, I think, like, because people called him up and were like, who?
Yeah.
I think there's like a real chance for him to kick on. He's doing that. Want to touch on the uncapped players?
Yes.
So, Alexander Masabaka, who is a player who Gregor Townsend made up.
He manifested him. He went, you know what we need? So I coached Glasgow to the 2014 Pro 14 title, and we had in the second row Leone Nakarawa running the show for us. We need a Fijian just to string everything together.
He went on a global search. He went through every single Fijian in the world.
Find the Scottish
over
man
6
with the
foot
longest
tall,
arms.
And went, do any of them have any drop of Scottish blood? And they happened to find one lad playing in the Pro Day who is half Fijian, half Scottish. And
brilliant.
Called him immediately into the squad. Like, yes, please, I need you so badly.
I'm interested to see how he gets on, especially if he gets, the Tonga game or something like that. I also quite like Liam McConnell.
Yeah,
they've
I
called
really like the look at him.
Yeah,
He's, like,
plays
really
anywhere
hard
in the back
worker.
five, and he's a proper grafter. He was the under-20s captain beforehand, and always spoke really well. And he's a hard worker, and I think he's got a big future to him.
And I think starting to nail down that sixer for Edinburgh.
Yeah,
started 3 of their 4 games so far this season, scored a try against Zebre, and has just made himself undroppable. I think
just the nuts and bolts so well.
Yeah, he's one of those players who, if you are an Edinburgh fan, I reckon you probably rate him accurately, and if you're not an Edinburgh fan, you underrate him because you're not watching him that tight inside out.
Have one game where you watch Edinburgh and pretend you're a fan of theirs and really go after Liam McConnell and try and appreciate what he does. Because he takes pride in the little things, like just giving little tip-ons, hitting breakdowns, winning line-outs, like mauls, all that sort of nuts and bolts stuff that you need in a second row. And again, it's what makes Scott Cummings a brilliant player, and what made him a Lion was being so good at all of these things. So, having somebody who can follow in that path, who plays either back row or second row, it's invaluable.
He'll probably only play against Tonga, maybe the USA.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Probably play 1, maybe 2 of those games, but it's a really useful chance for him to step up. He played off the bench against Chile when they played Scotland A.
Yeah.
Was it last year? Year before? Last year, yeah. And was solid enough, and has slowly built an Edinburgh career here. So someone I'd be interested, because I think he's a long-term option.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see much of him this autumn, but beyond this, he's someone who, if I'm a Scotland fan, I'm really glad he's getting in now. Yeah. And he's going to get some experience under his belt, going into a Six Nations, going into a World Cup in 2 years' time.
And even if that's just in training, because you look at the strength of that back row. They've got Sir Magnus Bradbury's back in,
yes,
of course. Josh Bayliss, who's been brilliant all year for Bath. Obviously, the likes of Jamie Ritchie, Rory Darge that we are used to.
Yeah, Jack Dempsey.
Yeah, Andy Onyemo Christie.
Yes, who's back.
Is back, who's been brilliant again, since returning from his injury. So, again, they are stacked in that back row area. And I have a beaming question for you.
Okay.
Who the hell is Harry Morris?
Harry Morris is a hooker.
He has not played this season.
No. He has played 5 times for Edinburgh. He spent a year on loan at Doncaster Knights. I'm not going to pretend that I know anything about this man.
Me neither. That is a proper Toonie Tombola, that is, isn't it?
It truly is.
Just here's just a guy. He can just be in our squad.
So, okay, he is a hooker.
/ flanker, so I see.
Yeah. Played 5 times off the bench for Edinburgh last season. Played for Doncaster the season before. Hasn't played this season. Sort of just a guy.
He's part just 2 of my question.
Right. The squad is odd because you have Ewan Ashman in there. You have George Turney, who also hasn't started again this season. Come back from an injury.
But he's established.
But is established enough, obviously. You have Patrick Harrison, and then you have this Harry Morris, whoever he is. So you have 4 hookers there, and you don't have...
Where the hell is Johnny Matthews?
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend.
He's unreal, mate.
Yeah.
The thing is, I always feel like it sounds like I'm taking the piss when I talk about how great I think Johnny Matthews is. But I don't even think he's just one of these Hollywood hookers who just stands out on the edge and takes all the glory.
Yeah.
I think he actually is genuinely good at line-outs. And
he's great,
ball carrying and rucking and stuff. Sure, he doesn't come up with many turnovers, but the rest of his game's brilliant and worth it.
I always assume there's something I'm missing with him. Right?
Yeah.
And why he's only got the 1 cap. Or is it 2 caps now? Yeah.
Yeah.
I always assume that there is something I'm not seeing because he is consistently excellent at the URC level, scored again at the weekend. And look, he is obviously on the back of a team with a very good maul.
Yeah.
But
that's not the only source of his tries.
One other player that I am surprised, though, he isn't looking at is Gregor Hiddleston from Glasgow.
Yeah.
Who is great. He's 23 years old, has kept Matthews on the bench a lot over the last couple of years. And every time I see him, I'm just like, this kid's quality.
Yeah.
This kid's good.
Yeah.
And I've just sort of wondered why he hasn't got a look in it all when they're instead capping a made-up man, Harry
funny,
Morris.
isn't it? Is he capping somebody who's not got game time under his belt? Like, there must be, again, something we don't know. Again, we don't know who this Harry Morris is. He could be incredible.
Yeah.
I hope
but
he
like,
is.
He's Harry spelled with an I, and Morris. Is he Welsh? They're trying to prevent him being poached?
I think that might be a part of this.
Yeah.
That, again, like, Warren Gatland's Wales always did this, and Toonie's always done this with Scotland. Like, if somebody's qualified for another nation, you just pick them.
Do you want Gregor Townsend's quote on Harry Morris?
Go on.
Harry Morris, every time he's played at any level, he's brought aggression, physicality. We see him having that test match mentality.
Okay.
So they've called him up based on, like, I've seen
Raw
something
materials.
in him, and I've gone, there's something interesting here.
Fair play.
Rather than form, or rather than, like, rewarding anything.
Fair play.
Which, fine.
Hopefully
there's a level of test rugby, right?
Yeah.
And Gregor loves to do that. As I say, he is now capped. Hold on. There are currently now only 4 men over the age of 17 in Scotland who have not played international rugby, and 2 of them are international golfers. So he's waiting on those. He's capped
Andy Murray.
Yeah, Andy Murray's the other one. He's capped most of Hoyk. I think there's only like 6 people left in Hoyk yet who hasn't played for Scotland now.
Yeah.
And he's just working for Edinburgh now. It's an interesting Scotland squad.
Yeah.
USA, New Zealand, Argentina, Tonga, in that order, is their fixture list. Do you think we will see the chopping and changing Toonie's doing in his wider squad reflected in the 15?
Maybe between the Tonga and USA squads.
Yeah.
I think he might give a lot of people a go there and develop a bit of depth. But on the flip side, I can't help but question how much momentum that will bring leading into the All Blacks week.
Yeah.
So that is a funny one. You'd imagine at some point he will want to give his strongest 15 a go to just absolutely blitz, like blow away an opposition. But at that point, when you do that tactically, you have to actually execute it on the pitch.
Yeah.
So it's a funny one. I really hope that Scotland can finally like get a huge scalp in the autumn, because I don't know, it's a part of the autumn internationals that I experience every year is really getting behind Scotland, and then
they've never beaten the All Blacks.
Then it doesn't quite happen. So
they've never beaten the All Blacks.
I mean, obviously, like last year they had the win against Australia, but they unfortunately got blown away up front by South Africa last autumn, which was a bit frustrating.
Ended up being quite a turgid game in the end, that.
Yeah. And I just hope that the New Zealand game doesn't end up like that, that they can finally put out a statement on this, because I just think this Scotland era kind of deserves something like that.
Okay. Closing thought on this squad. Would you be happy with this if you were a Scotland fan?
On the most part, yeah. I'd say so. Like, on the most part, it is their strongest team. The Johnny Matthews thing, as a rugby fan, does frustrate me a little bit. Because I just want to see, would he be good playing international rugby? I suspect yes, but we don't know until we've seen it a bit more.
Just more big Scouse lads scoring endless tries.
Exactly.
Why isn't there more of that in rugby?
Yeah. England picked Ben Kay on the wing for the next game.
He'll drop the ball again.
Oh, too soon.
It's been 22 years.
Yeah, and we're on a Scotland video. It's not too soon.